Welcome, Ignorant Takes Podcast. Man, ready for some round two action. I know we got some last night. Uh, Cleveland, Indiana.
Indiana.
But as always, joined with my co-host, with the fro with the most, Brian and Brian. What's going on, cuz?
And man, can't call it, it's either you happy or you sad. One or the other.
Well, I think you're happy. Your team made it to the second round after last night's dismantling of the Rockets. So now you got to go against the Wolves, though. We got to go against the Wolves, but we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll talk about the game that already got played. Indiana went to Cleveland and got a win out of there. No Darius Garland still. I think that was game three he's missed with the turf toe
Hmm.
situation or something like that. I don't know if it's a turf toe exactly. I know it's a toe injury though,
Yep.
and it's looking favorable for Indiana. The way that they play kind of counteracts the way that Cleveland wants to play. And it was definitely very infuriating for me to watch Donovan Mitchell clank a bunch of shots. He shot a bunch of threes, and then in the second half he started going to the basket. Then the game kind of got turned around, and they were able to get back into it. But Indiana man plays fast. Both teams play fast, but Indiana's I think they're the top tier team when it comes to that kind of fast paced basketball. They turn a lot of things, like a lot of made shots, into 3-on-2s, 4v3s, advantage basketball, kind of fast break ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana comes out and wins this series, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you changing your mind now. I was early. Just a couple episodes, y'all fools said Cavs is winning it easy, and I told y'all the Pacers mess
Yeah.
around and win this mug in
Yeah,
seven.
seeing it
And I
live, because I
told
feel they
you
both play fast, but the way Indiana does it now, Darius Garland could make a difference.
he
Uh,
can make a major
he can
difference,
make a
but we
major
also
difference.
he also do for a
Yeah,
disappearance.
you're right. But maybe these three games he missed, those are his disappearances. I don't know. But it does look favorable for Indiana, just the way that they played. It looked.
They
Now
play team ball.
adjustments can be made. Of course, I mean this is
Hmm.
NBA, this is professional basketball. Adjustments can be made. I think they do have a really great coach in Kenny Atkins, who did make some adjustments. Like it showed. It's just I just feel like Donovan Mitchell and those guys were so enthralled with the three that when you're missing threes and they're
Part
making
of this game.
twos,
Yeah, part of this game.
so
But I would say this, that I told you, Pacers play straight team ball.
yeah, yeah,
They work through that. Halliburton is showing y'all, man. Stop calling me the most overrated player right now, bro. Like, you look at that game. Down the stretch, he had three great defensive plays. He had like two blocks. I think he ended up having three, but he had made two down the stretch that were big major plays,
yeah,
and they scored. I will say Indiana probably not going to shoot that well again from three.
yeah.
They shot like very well, but also a majority of them were open jumpers. So I will say they did what they're supposed to. They made the opens, but I don't think they'll shoot at a high clip like that again. They'll still probably shoot, 30 in that mid 30s,
Yeah.
but I think they ended the game around like over like 45 to 50% from the 3-point line as a team. That is crazy.
Yeah, that
But
was. Let me
again,
get that number here. I think it was
yeah,
something.
like they shot very high as a team for that game. So it's like in all, like they played an
They
overall great
shot
game.
52, almost 53% from three.
See,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah,
But like I said, do I see that happening again for them? No, I can see like 40, like in that low
yeah.
to
And
mid
how often is
40s.
Cleveland going to shoot 23% or almost 24%?
Exactly. I do say Ty Jerome needs to go sit himself in the corner. He was doing some bull.
Yeah,
Like, I know Darius gonna go, but Ty Jerome was out here trying to like, bro, I was seeing him take some shots where I'm just like, bro, get a ball to D Mitch. He's cooking right now. Get a ball to him and go spot up. You out here trying to cook up and then pull up for a three. That's not your bag like that, B. Like,
yeah. I would have preferred. I mean, Ty Jerome had 20 shots, 8 for 20, and with 21 points. I would have liked maybe three or four of those. Well, five for sure. 3 of those shots probably go to Donovan Mitchell, even though he had 30 shots up, and 2 of those shots going to Evan Mobley, who was shooting 9 for 13. So yeah, he shot a little too much for a guy coming off the bench who's he can score.
Even
Let's
Max Strus could have got some of them shots. Motherfucking
oh yeah, Struz could yeah.
Hunter could have got some of those. I
Yeah,
just
but 20
didn't like
shots
it.
coming off the bench, you're not Jamal Crawford.
You,
You're
you
not Lou Williams.
you not Lou. You know what I'm saying? You not
You're
Nas.
not Nas yet.
Like you not Nas, bro. Like
These
come on, bro.
perennial six man of the year guys.
Yeah, like you shoot. Like I just don't see it. Like it just like
Hell, I would have
come on, bro.
liked DeAndre Hunter getting a couple more shots. I mean, he
That's
had
what I'm saying.
eight,
He
shoot
went. He
50%.
shot 4 for 8.
Yeah,
DeAndre Hunt. That's what I said. He shot 4 for 8, like 1 for 2 from the 3 point line. But it's like you 8 for 20, my boy. Like you could have swung about six of those. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying
12,
to
12
them
shots
others.
max. I want to see from Ty, unless he's like absolutely out of his body, like Buddy Hill last night. Then I can see 20. More than
But
12.
that was the thing though. Buddy was shooting a lot of catch and shoots, which
Yeah.
I told you when Buddy shoots catch and shoot, his numbers are extremely well.
Hmm.
So when he shoots off the dribble, trying to do all this too much and shoot off the dribble, his percentage goes down.
Right.
When you stick to what you do best, you excel. Ty Jerome can catch and shoot for real, but when you try to do out your body stuff, that ain't it. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong, 21 points, but that's 8 of 20. Like,
Yeah. That's
you could
40% ish, something like that.
come on, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like Struess, 2 for 9. He shoots all threes though. That's what he does. He went 2 for 8. He struggled, but normally he gonna make a couple of his opens. He's good for a 4 a game. He struggled, but like DeAndre Hunter should have had some more shots. Like Evan Mobley should have had at least about. Evan should have took at least 20 shots. Evan should have touched the ball. You know what I'm saying? He went 9 of 13, but I felt like Evan Mobley should have shot 20 shots. You're the
Yeah.
next guy. You're the next guy.
That's who I want to
Like
see, especially the matchup he has. I think his
it's
offensive
versus
bag,
Siakam,
his
but like
offensive
yeah.
bag is definitely better than it was in years past. I mean, 2 for 5. I mean, how often were we seeing him shoot 5 threes and make 2 of them?
Yeah,
You know,
which ain't that bad, but it's just like I'll take
and I'll
that because
take
he
2. I'll
is
take 6
expanded.
points from 3 because you should be at the basket anyway, or post up 15
Yeah,
feet, something like that. So
he had 20 and 10, so it's not like he didn't have a bad game. He had 20 and 10. He only missed what he missed 4 shots.
yeah,
3 of them were threes, so it's not like he had a bad game. He just didn't get. I wish he'd have maybe got to the free throw line a little bit more, but that's where I felt
yeah,
like he should have had them. Ty Jerome, 8 of 20, about 5, 6 of them shots go to Mobley. You probably see them with if he could have got maybe 3 of those shots, maybe a couple of them been at the free throw line, they'd have been straight. But I will say that's where, you know, that difference came in. But like I said,
yeah,
they played great. Like you look at it. Nate freaking Neesmith played very well. I told you about Nimhard. I did tell you that boy could hoop.
yeah,
And I said that's that X factor. He was hitting some timely buckets in that game, bro. Like he made some timely threes. And that hurt them. And like I said, Tyrese literally didn't shoot that well from three, but he still had his no he still had a double double. He still had over 13 assists. That's what he does. And he only had 1 turnover.
yeah,
Like he what I think, believe again, I think he did lead this year again in assists. And he's been the last like 4 years, he's been top five when it comes to assists.
yeah. Assist
So it's
turnover
not
ratio.
like this isn't
Yeah,
assist turnover ratio and overall assists per game. Like he's up there. So he's gonna get them open looks, open shots, and he does what he does. It's just gotta keep it going. Also, Miles Turner hooped too. He played very efficient when he was on the court. Like his minutes, he played very efficient versus Jared Allen,
yeah.
which was very nice.
Yeah, I think he got away with a couple pushes though. Like they dunked on him. They're hitting the ground. Like how often do you see someone dunk and they hit the ground like that? Like
Of
he was
course.
pushing the shit out of them and it's kind of dangerous a little bit. But
Of course. No, he did.
yeah,
There was a couple. It was a couple of them where you like, ooh,
yeah, that could have been a
you
it could
might
have been
have,
a flagrant the way they was pushing him because it
you
wasn't a
might want to.
basketball play at all. Like the way he's dunking and
Mm-hmm.
you're pushing off of him in the air in
Mm-hmm.
a defensive position. Like he could have been out of the game. But
Yeah, true.
it is what it is. I mean, I'm not saying that
I
that
also
he's
don't
necessarily
expect
trying to hurt
Spider.
people, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty dangerous to be pushing people with a lot of might like that in their
facts.
defenseless position on the hardwood. So
Facts. And I don't expect Spider to shoot 1 from 11 from 3 point line. Like
No, I mean he
that's
shouldn't have had 11 threes. I mean I already mentioned that
nah,
he
he
wasted some
shouldn't have, but
injuries,
then
but
again, he shoots about almost like 8 a game anyways
I
though.
can live with 8.
And
If you'd have turned 3 of those 11 into more twos, I'd have been happy with. Just because like they couldn't stop him from getting to the
yeah,
basket.
facts.
He
He
could
shot
have
nine
got to
free
the line a
throws.
little more. I think they called it a little loose, but or so he could have potentially got to the line more. I'm not saying like he should have, but some of
Yeah,
them are 50-50 calls, and they could have a different referee crew could have called it differently. He maybe got more,
facts.
15 free throws instead of 9. So,
Nah, I agree.
and then there's those that could have went the other way, and he'd have got maybe 5 free throws instead of 9. So
Facts.
it's just what crew you got. But I mean, again, they were all 50-50s. I'm not saying they were blatant fouls. It was just touch and go type stuff. So overall, it
Yeah,
was still a good game.
I
It's
think
gonna be a fast
it's
paced
gonna be another.
series.
It's gonna be a good series.
Yeah,
I do think Donovan Mitchell and them bounce back for game
for
two.
sure.
So like I said, Indiana already did their job. They stole the game. They stole one game on the
Yep,
road. That's all they needed, and
yep.
now it's in their favor. Which I told you, I said it the episodes ago that they'll win in 7. Like I just think that they match up very well with the Cavs.
It does
Like
look like that.
they,
Like I mean, I could see it. I just felt that the Cavs took a step forward this year,
Mhm,
more of a step than they
they
did
did.
last year. And I mean, without Donovan Mitchell getting hurt, I don't know if that series goes the same way with Boston. Maybe Boston still wins it, but
Mhm.
him getting hurt, I think it was a calf injury last year in that
Yeah.
series and missing those games, definitely
Like I
hurt
said,
him.
we'll see what happens. I know they'll make the adjustments out of it. Darius Garland not playing yet. That's definitely another aspect. But even with that, they still have some solid pieces to where like they could pick up that slack where they should do it.
Mhm.
But overall, this is still like an even matchup between them. I just got to see what Darius Garland looks like when he comes back. But I do feel like this next game,
Yeah,
Cleveland comes out. I do feel like Cleveland does come out and like make the adjustments needed. They
yeah.
take game
Should be a
two
good series though.
because
We
if they go down 2-0 going into Indiana, this shit might get real ugly.
Yeah, it's not gonna be good for the second overall team in the NBA record wise. So, I mean,
Hmm.
there's very. I know that the sports books have the Thunder, and I think Cleveland has top 3 because LA was number 4 as far as the odds, the favorites to win the title. I think it's Boston, Thunder, Cleveland was 1, 2, 3, 4 in some type of order. But there's a lot of experts that don't have faith. I mean, I'm one of those guys. I don't have faith in the Thunder.
Hmm.
I can see the Cleveland Cavaliers making it to the conference finals. I don't know if they make it to a finals though. I have to
Hmm.
see it. Like it has to be proven,
Yeah,
and we've seen a proven concept because I think going into this next series, which is the game I think that's coming up soon here,
yeah,
is the
then
Celtics Knicks, and I think this is
yeah,
about to be a sweep. I think that even though the Celtics have looked vulnerable, the way the Celtics they're literally designed to play the Knicks, like Brunson and the Knicks. I think they're going to now. It could be a gentleman sweep because the way that it's currently going, the Celtics win several games in a row, and then New York wins a game, and then the several games in favor of the Celtics again, and then they win a game. So there's a chance. Not saying it's a good chance, but just the way that the Celtics play, I think Drew Holiday's back. The way they guard Brunson and they match up in a spot where Tatum is guarding Cat, so they're not going to because you're never gonna have whoever's guarding Jalen and have a screen where JT out there that's gonna switch. You don't want Brunson going against Tatum, so because he is a
height
good,
wise,
tell
yeah,
you what, he just height. He's athletic. He is a good defender. I mean, the whole Celtics team is pretty much good defenders. Well coached team as well.
they damn near switch one through
They
five
can damn near
almost.
switch 1 through 5, and so Brunson, the way that they're gonna probably do it is have like Hart set the screens, but it works in the Celtics' favor because even though Josh Hart does knock some down some threes here and there, it's one of the
I'm
things that
living.
they live with. They
Yeah,
live
I'm
with him
living.
shooting those threes, so
Yeah, I'm living.
they do a
I'm
drop
living.
coverage on him. So this is definitely one of those teams that you drop coverage with, especially when it's for Josh Hart doing the screen instead of Cat, because Cat is a very high percentage 3 point shooter, especially catch and
Hmm.
shoot.
This is a cat series. This series is they gonna go as far as what cat takes them.
Yeah. And Cat
I
hasn't
think
taken
this
them far. I
is
know the regular season and the playoffs, it's really tough to beat a
yeah.
team 8 times in a row.
Yeah.
It's even tougher to beat a team 8 times in the same season. Because currently, I think as it
Mm-hmm.
stands, I think that the Celtics have all 4 games this year against the Knicks.
Yep.
So the Cat trade hasn't helped them. But that again, like I
Right.
said, that's how they defended it. They have JT guard Cat because he is tall enough to stay with him, athletic
Yeah,
enough
because
to make up for stuff. Yeah,
because
where
they the last time they played was April 8th, and they went into overtime. The
yeah,
Celtics won
and
by
that was a
two.
close game. The
So
rest of them weren't that close, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, it was 13 points, damn near almost you got in almost 230 balls. So
Yeah, see they
yeah, so like yeah, it's one of those. I just think it's more of what they go as far as what Cat does.
yeah.
If Cat tries to win his matchup to where it's like Jason Tatum, you about to be in foul trouble, you about to go sit down, and then they got you force Horford to come in and guard Cat
Yeah,
now.
now it's different.
Now it's a different
But it's
ball
so
game because
tough.
now
It's so tough. Tatum
Horford's
is
still
really
a great
good,
one, but
but Tatum is so good defensively that
yeah,
he's smart.
he's been
He
playing
doesn't
good.
foul a lot. The Celtics
Yeah,
don't foul a lot.
He's been playing good.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it forces a different matchup though, because now you take Tatum out the game. Now
Yeah,
you just took all this. You took scoring out the game for Horford, who yeah, Horford has turned into a great shooter.
hmm,
He's still a great rebounder,
but he's
but you
not
old
JT.
and slow.
Yeah, he's
You
not
old
JT.
and slow.
Yeah, that's it.
So Cat can take that mismatch. He has the more of the speed aspect over it. So they gonna go as far as what Cat does,
Sure.
because Jalen Brunson's he's gonna put up his shots. he gonna get them. He gonna get them up.
Yeah,
They're gonna be difficult, but like he gonna get them
and
up.
they're
But yeah,
gonna. I live with him shooting mid ranges. You don't want him at the free throw line because it slows the game
that's his
down. It
bread
gives
and
a
butter
break.
though. His three that he gets to that mid range to get you that little shoulder bump,
Yeah, but they
little
don't. But
leaner. It's
this whole year he hasn't been able to really do it. He's done it. I mean, when you're that good, again, we talk about it. There's a difference between containing a guy and stopping a guy. They do contain
yeah.
him enough. He doesn't get the typical because he's looking for to initiate contact.
He looking to
They
get to
do
that free
not
throw
give
line.
him just looking at the film. They do not allow him to get the contact to kind of get those foul. Oh, the extra. I mean,
You seen it in the Detroit series.
yeah,
They did. There was definitely some times where he was looking for that
yeah.
his natural
I
get to
mean,
the mid
Jalen
range, get the
Brunson is
shoulder bump,
everything
and
that
then
they
get
think
it.
Shea is when it
Yeah,
comes to trying to get calls and doing the extra flailing kind of stuff.
true.
Jalen Brunson is everything that they say Shea is for sure. So,
Fishes though.
but
So yeah, I don't I got Celtics. I got in six. I got them in six just because I feel like it may be that one random like it probably is
I can see
over in five.
5. I think
I
it's
see
over in
five.
5.
I just say
It's either a
six
sweep or 5
maybe.
in the favor of
Yeah,
Celtics.
I got five, maybe six. It'd be that one.
Yeah,
It'd be the one game that say the Celtics don't shoot good,
right.
and then it'd be that be the game where you just see
They steal a
Brunson,
game. Yeah,
Cat, Mikal shoots good, and then you'll have like that OG and Hart game where both of them probably got like 12 to 13 apiece. Where everything just aligns up,
yeah,
where Celtics don't shoot
I
good.
think Lamar called this out in one of our episodes where Celtics haven't played 2 games is not in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
So if Knicks can steal 2 games, I don't think they'll win the series. But if they can steal 2 games, that works in the favor of who their next opponent is, and possibly if the Celtics can get past that in 6 games as well. It definitely doesn't seed well for them going into the finals.
Facts.
But it should again. I don't think it's going to be a good. Again, I mentioned it's very tough to beat a team 8 times in a row in 1 year.
Yeah, very true.
So I can see 5 games for sure. It's even it's hard to beat a team 8 times in the same year total, not just 8 times in a row. So they're very familiar with each other, but Boston is 100% built to beat the Knicks. It's very clear the way that the Knicks play. They counter pretty much everything the Knicks do. So
Mm-hmm.
now again, Cat could show up, show out. Brunson can still get his, and they could make it a series. And get to 6,
Yep.
get to 7 games potentially. I don't see more than 6 personally, but because again,
Yeah.
I don't really see it going past 5. But yeah, should hopefully good basketball. Now it might not be because there could be 4-0s that was highly contested. But good it still was good basketball versus what we saw in the Thunder Grizzlies series, where other than one game, everything was like not really contested. So.
Facts.
And moving on again, I guess segue there. We got Thunder Nuggets too later tonight. Nuggets on 2 days rest. I was talking to some people earlier, and I was saying like it's going to really come down to the last 4 minutes of the second quarter and the first 6 minutes of the third quarter. how good the Nuggets look in that time span can determine how the game is going to be. If it's very close and the Nuggets are, even if they're winning, because I do think they match up really well. These are both really good, they're really good teams. They're the Nuggets are bigger as far as weight wise goes. The Thunder has a bigger height because they have two 7-footers on their team, but the way that the Nuggets can still play them, I think Eric Gordon is definitely going to get the Shea nod. Then you have Bron on Jaden
I
Williams
think
maybe.
Aaron Gordon is gonna be on Shea some, but I don't think it's gonna start out with it. I think Aaron Gordon starts out on Chet first and then switches over. So I don't think it's gonna be one of those. So we'll see. But he'll be at Garden Shea at some point in time. So but mm, the determined factor would be Murray would be it's gonna be how Murray plays, and then I think the tournament for the Nuggets is how good MPJ shoots, and then Russ.
Yeah,
Those are going to be the two key factors I think for them. For Shea and them, Chet hoops. Chet if Chet gets if
is
Chet
yeah.
averages about at least 20 and 8 and shoots probably like in the that mid 30s and up from the three, they'll probably win this series because that's going to be the determinant factor. Because we know Shea is going to do whatever he can to get his average, but like,
And he hasn't looked good at all during this whole playoff. So he's due to show up. But again, he didn't really look good last year either. He had a couple moments, but they didn't look good either. They were number one seed last year.
so this is the learn. This is like they said, he didn't look good last year. Is this that bounce back
And
year?
he's
Did you
done
learn
nothing
from
but
your
he's
previous?
done other than I mean they're saying he's the MVP, and yeah he's had a stellar scoring year, but he's really underperformed everywhere else it's mattered. I mean Team Canada was supposed to be in the knockout stages. They didn't make it into the knockout stages. He's going against his Canadian national team friend in Murray, and I think Murray shows out. Like I think it's one of those things where it's like they're talking about you're the best Canadian on our team. Like, nah, I don't think so. Which I think Shea is, but one of them got a title. So, and was a pivotal piece. I know he wasn't the Finals MVP, but a very pivotal piece in that Finals run that they had. So,
Agreed.
I think yes, I agree. It's going to definitely come down to Murray. Chet is I'm never going to bet against a young boy from the land. So, it's the land
I think
without lakes.
that's I
I ain't
said
with
that's
it.
gonna be the key. As I said, I think that's the key
And
factor
they
for
got to
them.
run. And I was talking to one of the guys at work. I was saying, the Thunder run this set with the two bigs, where it's Hartenstein and Chet, where they do screens for each other basically, and they run the offense to each other because they both can pass really well. Chet obviously can shoot. Hartenstein can knock a shot down here and there, but it's not really his game. When you have two 7-footers that are athletic, can dribble the ball, can facilitate the ball, makes a play, playmaking, and score pretty much everywhere. Chet more so
Hmm.
than Hartenstein. It's very tough to guard. They're 7-footers,
Yeah,
So they have to. Shea has to get his. He's the MVP. He's the star of that team. He's going to get his shots. But if they can run that efficiently, and they're going to force the Joker to play defense, because that's where he definitely doesn't excel is on perimeter D. Under the post when you're 7 feet tall, I
he
mean
holds his
he
own.
holds his
He holds
own.
his own. He owns his own
Yeah, but
in the post.
on the perimeter is very suspect. So if you
Yes,
can force him on the perimeter and some pick and roll concepts in the way that they play it, it's to their advantage. It's definitely to the Thunder's advantage. Honestly, if they're not doing that, I foresee the Nuggets actually getting out of this series.
I got Nuggets. I got Nuggets in six.
I can see this another 6 or 7 game series. I
Yeah,
like that.
I got nugget. I got Nuggets in six because I feel like Shane and them will figure it out early, but I also you gotta. They've been resting so long. This first game they may come out
Really
rusty
rusty, yeah.
because they literally swept them. So they've been sitting for almost I think a
Yep.
week. So like I don't care how much
It's basically
shots
the
you
same
get
thing that happened in
up,
Cleveland. Cleveland came out
and
so
yeah,
flat. They came out super flat.
exactly. So it's like it's one of those things where I think they come out flat that first half, and if they let Jamal and Joker get out early, it's gonna be tough for them.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, yeah, I got Nuggets in six. I just don't, I don't see what the, is it. I don't see them slowing down Joker. That's the thing. You don't. You have. It's not. It's contained.
The
It's
scoring is
they
not
don't
a
have enough to
problem. It's the
slow
same
him
thing with
down.
Luca. Like
Yeah,
he's gonna get his. Don't let him get 10 assists, 12 assists. Keep
exactly. It's
limit
where
to his
he's having
assists.
the 12 assists and stuff like that. It's where the problem is because he's gonna get the points. He's gonna get his. He's
Yeah,
gonna get at
we
least
saw it on
12
Saturday. He
rebounds.
didn't have a. He had 2 points going into halftime. He had 2 points going into halftime, but I think he had like 8 assists.
Exactly.
So it's something. He had a good like either I can't remember if it was no. I think I may be confusing Steph because I think Steph had six going into half. But it was the same thing with him. He didn't have no points until basically the end of the half. He made that three. As soon as he made that three, I said this game's over because he done seen one go in. So the
Yeah.
Joker eventually, the great players, even if they're running cold, they find a way to show up. So give me a second.
Mm-hmm. Intermission. Shout out to everybody. Appreciate all the followers, the views, the shares, the comments, the likes, the dislikes. Hey, man, we appreciate everybody. I said, you ever, comments. We like suggestions, man. In the comments, man, we see them. We do comment back. We like some of the viewpoints that everybody's providing as well. So, hey, make sure y'all keep doing that as well. So. Hey man, if you feel like you want to talk some talk, man, DM us, man. We could probably set something up, get you on one of the episodes too. We open to hearing some of this, dialogue because a lot of y'all got some ignorant takes in the comments, like very ignorant. Some of y'all delusional as ever too. When I mean delusional, I mean you overly exhausted LeBron James fans. Okay, like literally. I need for y'all to like get the pacifier out your mouth.
My bad. This girl's got me looking for these damn jeans. I can't even find where the fuck she put them.
Because they're probably where she put them. Like I
So
said,
she's exchanged. She bought some jeans and they're like super baggy. I was like, nah, we gotta switch these up. But anyway, we'll move on now. Going to with all that being said, I definitely agree and concur with what Cuz was talking about. Yeah, we like all that. Whatever you got, you can catch these hands in the comment. You can catch all of it because
facts.
y'all don't know ball. I mean, most of Brown fans don't know ball at all. But anyway, now the series we've been waiting for. Timberwolves versus the Warriors, both 6 or 7 seed, and made it. I mean, this is the year. Let's before we go, the 1 through the 1 and 2, the ones were set in the West. Like the 1 and 2, they were definitely true 1 and 2s, but the 3s through 7s were not true. Like your normal year 3 through 7, where the advantage went to
Nope.
the higher seeds because it was a difference between like 1 2 games between those teams. So
One to two all season.
yeah, so it's uh it's not surprising. You know what I mean? I know I was the one who said Warriors or Timberwolves are 6. I think everyone had the Warriors making it out of that series, especially Jabron because he's a Warriors fan. But I mean, Steph Curry owns the Rockets. Let's be real. He hasn't lost a single series to the Rockets his entire career. So why would he stop now? Why would he start now? Why would he start?
Bruh, it was, gonna be honest with you, should have been over in five. I would have loved the rest. But like I said, bro, things do happen. But also, Steve Kerr was getting out coached, bro. He got out coached. Games 5, 6. Like he literally was getting out coached, bro. He was getting out coached. He was not man enough to make the adjustment when Steven Adams came in the game, bro. Like, swallow your pride to the side, bro. Looney, Kaminga should have been in the game like right away. Like one of them two should have been in the game, bro. Like at this point, because like Steven Adams, you not gonna fully keep him off the boards. But what I was saying is somebody big down there helps push him around. Whether it's not, bro, we got three other bigs. That's 6 fouls apiece. He can't shoot free throws. So at the end of the day. if we're living with having to box him out and they call the foul, cool, it gets us in the bonus, whatever, whatever. But if he's the one shooting free throws, I'm living.
Hmm.
But what it does is y'all put Jimmy in a spot where he's normally at. I'm taking Jimmy out rebounding a lot, any guard, any day of the time. If he's able to come in and help snatch a board where you're trying to box Steven Adams out, not him having to box out probably the strongest man in the damn NBA
Hmm.
and a great rebounder. No. And then you want me to go have him go get me 25 on the other end. That's not doable. It's not feasible. Jimmy's a superhuman, but he ain't that superhuman.
No,
Like, come on, bro.
not dealing with a monster of a man like that.
No,
That dude's the strongest
exactly.
shit,
So
man.
I'm glad he swallowed his pride and did what he did. Like,
Yeah.
it made it because what happened? We didn't see Steven Adams. I don't think he came in the game the whole second half.
No, because
He
they
didn't.
because they were counteracting what they were looking to do. So
Exactly.
overall, it was still a good series. I mean,
Yeah,
we
great
got to
series though.
see what Jalen Green was, and obviously he's nothing. He's
APB missing.
he should not be. Şengün needs more shots. The offense needs to run through him. And they need to run more offense for Thompson, Amon too. So
Be honest with you,
Jalen,
they should have started Amin at the one. Fred should have been the two. In my opinion, for Amin should have been the one. Fred at the two. Jabari should have been at the three because he played great off the bench. He really outplayed Jalen Green,
yeah,
Sengun, and then they could have left even Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks could have been in. Dylan Brooks didn't play a bad series. He actually was hooping. He just was in trouble. He just got in foul trouble a lot. But when he did. He actually hooped. He made some shots. He
yeah.
played
And
defense.
he speaks
So
of
like
him,
you
and on
could have,
offense, on defense, he does lock
yeah,
in.
yeah, he locked in. And so like I would have loved. There could have been Dylan Brooks, Jabari, and Sengun. But like I'm sorry, bro. Y'all kept trying to rely on a man that barely took I think 8 shots the last game.
Yeah,
A closeout game, you barely take 8 shots, but you're supposed to be like the supposedly number one option. Make it make sense. I'm not going.
now.
Lights was too bright. Don't get me wrong. First playoffs, that's cool and all that, but like at least go out shooting
But
that
the
mug, bro.
Thompson twins are the real deal. I mean, Amon is better than Asar. I think maybe he just had that because Asar did get hurt last year and missed a good chunk of time. But I don't think I've ever seen twins where they're both cold. Like they're both legit. They're both legit. And so, I mean, we'll see what the Boozer twins is like. But
Yeah, the Boozer twins are it's the one it's what is it? Caden. Not Caden. Yeah, it's Caden. He's the truth.
yeah,
That his other
and we can
brother's
see what the
solid.
Barnes twins are too. But
His other brother's solid, but
like the
Caden's the
Martin
truth.
twins, Caleb is definitely better than his twin brother. It's always one
Hmm.
that's like super, like has a, what did Gil say? You've never seen two twins that are really good because one twin takes all the talent. And in this case, it's there's a difference for sure. But I think
There's
I think
they're
Amon just got that fuck it in. Like he's like
they're
fuck you in
even
this.
they're even defensively. Amin just has a little better offensive game
Yeah, because he's got
than
that
that.
fuck you. Like he's like fuck you guys. I know I'm a 2 year player, but I'm here to play. Like I'm a NBA
Man,
player
it's
just like
just
you. And I see Sar is not like that. Like he don't got that. He don't got that like killer about him on the offensive side where Amon does.
which is not wrong. Nothing wrong with that. He,
Yeah.
he can always also grow into that. But I say
Yeah.
this: Amin develops. I said that what, and everybody wants to shoot threes, all this. No, everybody's like, he got to shoot threes. No, he doesn't, bro. As much as they back up off him, he is so athletically gifted, bro. If he develops his mid range, I said this: if he shoots all his mid ranges and he gets that consistent, I don't care what you do. If you back off him, he's 6'8", 6'9", and can jump out the gym. He's athletic. He can finish both hands. He has great court vision.
Yep.
You back up enough, he has the explosive where he gives you a nice little pound dribble to the rim to make you step back and then pulls up. If he gets that down packed, he'll be unstoppable. Because what are you going to do now? If he hits that 2, 3 times in a row, you have to respect it. So if you overly play it, he can buy you to the rim, and now he might dunk it, he might finish it, or he could drop it off.
Hmm.
I think if he goes to work on his mid range, he gonna be a problem next season.
Yeah.
And then 2 years down the line, you work more consistently on your 3 pointer, where like you start being where you can make it, and they gotta be respectable. Like they'll still leave you open, but if you cash, a couple of them,
Yeah, well, you can shoot maybe 4 a game because they're open shots, and then you
yeah,
knock down half of them, or throughout the year you wind up not shooting at 40% or like 38% is still great. Because there's gonna be games where he's not
Shoot,
gonna
I ain't gonna lie. For him, if he shoots 30% in a season, that's a bonus.
for sure. So, um, but yeah, they got to respect. I think he's super talented. They're both super talented.
Yeah, I
So
think he needs work at his mid range. It'd be a
yeah, the mid
problem.
range will make him disgusting
Yeah,
for sure. Because then it's like now you pick your poison. Because if you play a step back, he can knock that down. But if you play a step up, he can get you to the basket, put you in the rim.
exactly. So that's why I was like, bump that, bump. Yes, I would. Yes, the team will love you to get to 3 point line, but I don't care, bro. I would tell him, hey, we in here shooting nothing but mid ranges all year long,
Yeah,
and that thing is so deadly. You got to respect it because then it's just like what Russ did. Russ, yes, Russ, he would eventually he's shooting threes, but Russ was going bink, bink, hard dribble to that rim and stop on a dime, pull up, and that bitch money
yeah,
every time. And you knew it, and you was like, damn. Now you trying to cheat the mid range, and what happened? You didn't overplayed it. Now he didn't at the rim punching on somebody.
yeah.
Mid has the same thing, and he's that explosive to where he hit a couple of the mid ranges. You start respecting this.
You're in trouble.
Now you at his mercy.
Yeah,
Now it don't matter if you play so far off him and try to force him to shoot a three. Shit, two dribbles in, he's at the free throw line pulling up, and he shoots at the top of his jumper.
yeah.
I don't
Tough
see
to
it. So
defend.
yeah, man.
Tough to defend. He's just got to add something to his bag. I mean, they're only in year two, so expect him to
Exactly.
be a complete play. I mean, we look at the evolution of even Anthony Edwards, who's 23 years old. He's already led his team to the Western Conference Finals, quite possibly on the way to doing it again. I mean, obviously got to get to the Warriors. Hell, he might even be able to lead the team to the finals this year, which I think, again, call me a homer if you
Be
want.
hon-
I think
be honest with you,
that,
whoever gets out this series potentially is probably going to the finals unless the Nuggets get out. Then it's gonna be it ain't gonna be an
yeah,
easy. I don't think it's an easy walk if the Nuggets get out.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think it's
that
an easy
series
walk.
favors you guys. It still works for us because we match up well with them.
Yeah, but I also looked at some things us versus them though.
Hmm.
I don't mind us in that series though because like Looney plays more, and he actually does play well
Yeah,
versus
yeah, you guys
Joker.
still play good. I'm not
It's
saying you
when we,
guys get
it's
dominated by
yeah,
them. It just
it's
doesn't
when we go.
favor you
It's
guys.
this, yeah, it just doesn't favor us.
Yeah,
Shit, this last one didn't technically favor us either. But like, I think if somehow the Nuggets sneak through. I
the
mean,
what?
not
No,
the Nuggets, the Thunder. If the Thunder sneak through,
they
then
don't want
I
any
think
part of
whoever
either one of
wins,
these teams.
yeah, they don't want any part of these teams. So that's why I said like, if the Nuggets get through, then it's gonna be, yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
because
another great
Ant is
series. But I don't.
Ant is coming to kill everything in front of him. Like,
Which is he learned, but that's what you're expecting. Though he made it there and he understood. He gassed out,
yep, train
and as
differently, and
even the team gassed out.
yep,
Like the team overall, I think understood they all gassed out
yeah.
then, and it just wasn't there.
Hmm.
Now they understanding it, whatever it is, it's all clicking, and it's like, yeah, I'm ready for all
And
this.
McDaniel's looks really good. Yeah, I understand that was with
He's
Luca
playing
and them
great.
guys, but I still am like,
He still played good.
I
It didn't matter.
yeah,
He
he
still played
plays so
good.
great. So it's gonna be an interesting series. I know you're gonna have your Warriors. I definitely
Man,
got my
I got
Timberwolves.
us in 7.
Oh man,
I got us
it's
in
not going that
7.
far.
Fuck you
It's
talking
not going
about?
that far.
We not the Lakers, nigga.
Good,
I told you
good.
that. They had two liabilities on defense and three liabilities on offense because AR went missing. He was
Yeah.
him and Jalen Green at
Yeah.
the same resort right
Same
now. Talking
result.
about how they the same
How do
resort
we let
talking
this
about how
happen
they can
to
work with
us? Yeah, exactly.
exactly. We ain't them. Rudy not getting no 20 and 20. That's
That was a
that
game of a lifetime right there. I don't think that's ever happened again. I'm not banking on that.
exactly.
I'm not banking on that at all.
You're not banking on that, but you better bank on something because you better hope Mike shows up, Julius Randle
Oh
shows
wait,
up.
hold on now. My Lawrence North brethren, he can always show up. Mike
You
Collins Jr.
you better
is
hope
always gonna show up.
he shows up.
He-
You better hope he show
the
up.
vet is gonna show up,
The vet has
and
to show up. But I would tell
and is
y'all
looking
this.
for man. He's looking for scalps,
I'm not
man.
worried. I'm not worried about Ant. Ant like we even said, great players. You don't look to stop them.
He's
You
looking
just
to
look to
contain him.
slow
Yeah,
them down as much as you can. What do? You take away the second and third option. And to be honest with you, we take Nas out the series. If we take Nas out the game and we make Julius Randle shoot, it's gonna be over. It's a problem. It's a problem because Nas is really number two. Julius is 3. Nas is 2.
Yeah, when it comes to offensive efficiency and who the
Yes.
offensive threats are, yeah, I can agree with that.
Yes. Nas is
Nas
2.
is like that though. But
Nas is a
how? I
whole
mean,
different
do
breed.
you really think that you guys are going to be able to take Nas out of the series?
We match up better to actually play against Nas than what the Lakers did
I mean, let's talk about
because
matchups.
like
So since we're here, since you brought it up, let's talk. So I
I
think,
got 3. You got 3. I got 3 players that can. There's 3 players that's gonna match up with Nas. And as much as I don't like Steve Kerr, and I know he's good dreading not to play him, Kaminga has to play. Kaminga can match up with
Mhm.
Nas. They're both 6. Nas I say is really like 6'9",
Yeah, yeah.
maybe 6'8". Kaminga's actually 6'10", long wingspan, athletic and can move, and he's as strong as Nas.
Hmm.
So he has to play. If you really look at the matchups, he has to play. And I think that's a great matchup with him. Again, he'll probably see some of Draymond. He will see some of
Hmm.
Draymond.
Hmm.
He'll probably see Jimmy here and there too.
Hmm.
He may see Jimmy. He may the matchup I don't want to see, he'll probably end up having Moses guard him. Moses is still like 6'6". He's strong, but like Nas still gets that matchup like
Yeah.
here and there. But
So
he'll see that. But
I see McDaniel's chasing Steph.
McDaniel's
Actually, maybe Mike Conley might chase Steph, and then they
yeah,
switch.
but that's not gonna. I don't think that. I think McDaniel stays on Steph. Mike is gonna go guard Brandon.
Yeah, and then I got Ant guarding Jimmy,
Ants guarding Jimmy for
and
shit
then
show,
Randall.
and at some point in time they might
Yeah,
switch
and
though
I see
too.
Randall going. I see Randall get going at Jimmy too, guarding him.
I can see that, but that ain't gonna last long.
No, it doesn't work in his favor. Jimmy definitely wins that.
Yeah, Jimmy gonna get him in foul
Yeah,
trouble
because
because
you
Randall
want
overly
Randall
aggressive.
over Randall versus either Draymond or Randall versus whoever
Randall
the
most
center is
likely
going
is
to be.
gonna most likely. Well, right now we've been starting small, but I think even with that we'll still have. I think what it is it'll be Randall guarding like Dre.
Yeah, because if you go too small and you're not forcing Randall to shoot and he's getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line, it's tough.
Yeah,
It's a
but that's it's
problem.
how. But look though, we know Randall has the same issue that Cat has.
Yeah, he just
It clicks
randomly
at the
started
wrong
shooting. Yeah,
time. It's
but
not.
I mean, it didn't really show it didn't rear its head in the Lakers series though. I think maybe a little bit. Maybe there was a couple.
It did in them first few games, and then he realized it like game 3 through
Yeah,
4. Like, oh shit, they're not really putting
yeah.
somebody with some
Go put
size on me.
motherfuckers in the
So
basket. Like, what are you doing?
yeah, he
You're
started
strong as
realizing.
shit. Like, go get
So
under the
don't get
basket.
me
Go
wrong,
somewhere.
but I got us. I got like I said, I got us in 7. But everybody wants we're undersized. Where we're undersized at? Who are y'all talking? Because
No,
like when you
I
say
don't think
under,
you're undersized. I think we're bigger in this. I'm not wouldn't say you're undersized in that
and
facet.
that's what everybody's going.
No,
Everybody's been
that's
talking. You're undersized.
overblown.
Who are
That's
like undersized?
overblown.
Where you? The only thing you're bringing up is Rudy Gobert, bruh.
Maybe you're.
Kevon Looney could come in and take him out. He don't like Draymond. Draymond is about to have fun this series
Yeah.
because guess what? Rudy has to
I
guard
mean, think
him.
about it. We got Ant versus Steph, and I mentioned it in our private conversations. If he wins this series, like I'm calling him the Legend Slayer. I know you said he got to
I
get a
told you.
ring.
I told you he got to get that ring.
I can respect that. But he's taking scalps. He's got LeBron's crown. He's got KD scythe. He's got Luca's suit because they call him Don. Luca the Don. Joker's, whatever you get from Joker, gray hair or something. I don't know. But hey, man, that boy is playing 23 years old and leading teams like
He's
this. He's
hooping.
hooping.
But like I said, for me to give him credit for that, he got to go
He got to
get
go
that
ring, and
ring.
I think it's quite possible
Because
this year or next year for sure.
it would equal no, it would
No, he has to
equal
get it this
a
year though,
great run.
which is
He
that
got to
Dirk
get it
run.
this year.
Actually, we talked. So fuck
It's that.
fuck the series. Like
We
series
talked
gonna be
about
great.
it.
Let's get
Yes,
into
we
that.
talked
Actually,
about it.
let's get into that.
It's gonna go down with that Dirk run. If he can get this series
Yeah,
and say he gets the Nuggets out of there, and it is him versus Boston. So now you have the defending champs, and you beat them convincingly. You just went down with Dirk with probably one of those.
yeah. Yeah, for
So
sure. I mean, so you're talking because I was talking to I told you about the coach. We call him Coach at work.
mhm.
We were talking about it, and I brought it up, And he's like, well, let's look at the ages. So I went and did the ages. He's like, because it could be different. I said, well, Dirk was the older team. Dirk's team was the older stakesman in that go round because they beat they beat B Roy and Aldridge. They were 25 and 26, and then they went and played the Lakers. Kobe was 32, Powell was 32, and if you want to include Lamar Odom, he was 30. And then they went and played OKC. Those guys were all 22, 22, 21, respectively. That's KD, Russ, Harden. And then they went and beat the Heat, which was 26-year-old LeBron, 26-year-old Bosh, and 28-year-old D Wade. So but like I said, the older statesman in that case was the Mavericks. So I think Dirk was 32. Yeah, Dirk was 32 that year. I think he turned 33 in the middle of that run, but 32 years old, respectively. Now what kind of makes it a little different? Yes, AD and them beat a 40-year-old LeBron James, but they also played against a 25-year-old superstar in Luka Doncic, who has led his team to a conference finals and a finals just the year before.
He hoops in the
He moves the
playoffs.
playoffs.
He has shown up in the playoffs.
Those kind of things kind of counter each other a little bit. And then you go and you beat Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green. That's two 36-year-olds, and I think Draymond's 35, 34, 35.
Draymond's still up there, but you're still
Yeah.
you go and you're beating two people that have 4 rings and a person that's been to 2 NBA
By
finals
himself in
by
several
himself.
conference finals, right? And then you
Yes,
go
by
on and
himself.
potentially beat the Nuggets again, or you beat this year's MVP in the Thunder. And then you go
Yep.
on to play the 26-year-old Celtics,
Most
led
likely,
by
it's
Tatum, and
more
then
favorably it's going to be the Celtics, but it's a chance it
that
could be
is a
somebody else.
run,
But
dog. Like again, there is no team that you could say matches up. When you look up on paper, there's no team that matches up with that Heat team. But when you look at the other teams that the Timberwolves played against, there's really no teams that matched up as far as because the Thunder were really young. This Thunder team they're the youngest team still, but Shea's 26. They're still like in that middle. The oldest player is 31. There's
yep.
two players that are 31. So that team is relatively young. But it's not a 22-year-old superstar guy like leading the way. Like this is a 26-year-old guy with other guys that are in that age bracket. So they're in the middle of their prime. They're not entering their prime. They're in the middle of their prime. So that kind of balances that youth factor out of you got prime LeBron in them.
Yep.
So the other three games kind of counteract that end game in the finals because that was unreal. LeBron James, that team was the 2 seed from the East. They were the season favorite going in because that was the decision year. LeBron James was number 2 in Defensive Player of the Year that year, and he was just balling. He was balling and wound up disappearing in that series. And I think Game 4 is when it really started happening for him. But so they kind of like they match up really well. Like that is debatable. Everything else, like the next closest series is the the Akeem and the Rockets that back-to-back year where they were the 6th seed and they went to beat the 3-2-1-1 in the finals. So and that's still like a distant second compared to that Dirk run. That Dirk run was unreal. And he's kind of doing something of that magnitude. So it makes for interesting conversation. I mean, like when you look at the like the storylines in this, you have the battle of the illegitimate MJ sons and Butler and Edwards. Then you have the battle of Jimmy versus really Glenn Taylor, but the Target Center. You got Steph versus Clay, or Steph not Clay, Steph versus Ant. Then you got Rudy versus Draymond.
versus Draymond.
Like
Which everybody wants to see.
Like there's a ton of plot lines here, which makes for good TV.
I agree.
Should be interesting.
But
I'm excited
agreed.
about the series.
This is going to be a great series. I just don't. Everybody keeps wanting to underestimate, and I'm sorry. This it's not going to be a cakewalk like folks think it is, bro. Everybody ain't going to run through them. The
No,
Wolves
I'm
gonna,
not gonna say that.
bro.
I say
it's
it
been
goes
all that.
5 or 6. I know you said 7. I say it goes 5 or 6 in
This is
favor, and I
going
lean more towards 5.
7.
But it's going to be very closely contested. There might be one blowout this whole
I
series, but it's going to
as
be very
much as
closely games.
but the thing is, you got to remember though. Everybody want to say he goes 5, but you got to remember though. The Wolves still have to shoot at that high clip.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's hard to do against a team that does rotate and play defense, though. And like they're going to be making contested. There's going to be some few opens,
Yeah.
but there's McDaniels is going to have to shoot at a high
But
clip.
at the rim, I
That
think they
little
exceed. At the
they
rim,
can
you
exceed
guys
at the
exceed.
rim. They can exceed, but that's my thing is they gonna have to do that. And you remember the Lakers, you were Luka dependent, bro. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, everybody else didn't. They didn't shoot well. We have a moving
Oh
offense.
no, Rui shot surprisingly well. That's usually not a three.
And
That's not a threat.
but they were
But I
were
live with
living
Rui. If Rui is scoring 20 points, I live with him scoring 20
I'm
points.
living. That's my point. They were living.
Yeah.
They were living with that. My thing is, Jaden McDaniels has to shoot at a high clip.
Yeah.
Whether that 20, 30 he was getting, he's gonna have to do that. But like, he's not gonna be getting them type of free looks like that he was
No,
getting. But
no, for sure. It's gonna be.
this ain't.
It's
This,
definitely gonna be closer games.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
think.
He's gonna have to hoop.
Yeah.
Alexander Walker's gonna have to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he hooped in that series, but he's gonna have to play at a high level too. Same thing, like I said, the old vet Mike is gonna have to show up some. He gonna have to put in a little more work than he did in that series.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. And people making it seem like it's cakewalk. Y'all undersized. The
No.
only undersized y'all are trying to say is because
I
you
think.
think that because we play small, but don't realize Rudy doesn't like playing against Draymond. Draymond is an irritant, but he knows how to play Rudy, bro. Rudy struggles against that. And then even then, if you put Kevon Looney in the game, he struggles against another big that is actually much that can move more better than him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're struggling against that. And then we can bring in Post who can shoot at 7 foot. That brings Rudy away from the basket.
Right. Yeah,
So
I think a lot of that, like whether that's people or analysts, are saying, "No, this is going to be a
mhm.
cakewalk with Timberwolves," because of that LeBron factor. Oh, they beat LA. I mean, if any team that
Yeah.
beats the Lakers, any team that beats Boston, the next series is always going to be a cakewalk because these are the perennial teams. Even over. Let's be real. The Lakers were 100% overhyped. Like it
Yeah,
looked good,
agreed.
and I called it. I told you guys it looks good now, but when it gets into the playoffs, where teams literally get to game
I
plan on the
expect
offensive
and
side, where
I expected a better showing from AR,
yeah,
and I also expected to see more of Jackson Hayes in that
yeah,
series because of
hmm
Rudy, and also Jackson Hayes played great. And the thing, like your brother said, Luca plays great with a lob threat
yep,
because then you can't take away his mid range where he can bump you out the way, and then now he has the
yeah.
choice of if you step up. I lob it over you. If you don't, I'm taking this nice
And
little,
a lot of that has to
15,
do with
20.
coaching. I mean, JJ, let's be real.
Yeah,
You can't play a 40-year-old for 40 minutes for a whole half.
you
You
can't.
can't, and they were burned. Well, we couldn't score. We couldn't score because their legs were burned out. Like you
Exactly.
burned their
It
legs in game
happens. You
three.
get tired. What happens? You play lackadaisical on
Yeah.
defense. You can't shoot. You can't get the lift. So yeah, but no, like I think the matchups are gonna be great. I just
It should be
like
a fun series. Like I said 5. But again, just like I mentioned earlier, even a series that goes only 4, when they're highly contested games, the end result doesn't always equate to how heavily competitive that series was. Even in a
yeah,
4 game series, if you literally went to a couple overtimes and it was 2 point 3 point differentials between the 4 games, like that's a great series even in a sweep. I say
hmm
5 just because I think that Anthony Edwards and this team have made a step forward. They've been
they have taken a step.
they're 14-4
I got
going
us
into
in
the end of the
7.
season. They looked really good.
I just know this is gonna be a
Oh
dogfight,
yeah,
and I
yeah, for
think I
sure,
got us in 7. That's why I said I got us in
sure.
7. I don't see like the only way this ends before before 5 is if they just completely shoot the same way that they did against the Lakers,
Yeah,
where it was just that
yeah.
if they play like that,
Which
cool.
is almost
But I
impossible, and I'm not banking
it's
on
just
that at all.
impossible. And that's why I said I literally what's going to determine that series is Jaden McDaniels, can he get 20 plus a
Yeah,
game?
and can
If
and
he
can
not
Julius
getting
Randle stay out of his head?
and Julius King, exactly those two. Because I count Nas as trying. He has been real consistent. He rarely falls off where he has a game that
And I
he
don't
doesn't
think he's going to be
score
in foul trouble
15
as
of.
much as he was in that Lakers series. I think he's going to be a
Yeah,
little different.
True, he may not, but he may not, and he may.
Yeah.
Who knows? Because he may get caught in the offense where you're switching and you're getting caught late. Now you're
But
helping
I do
wrong.
love the storylines, man.
So
This is gonna be. I mean, I
I
know
like
for us
because
personally, we have our own invested interest, but the
this
storylines
is
in
gonna be
general,
the
outside
battle
looking
of
at
the.
it.
It's gonna be the battle of the lineups though,
Yeah, yeah, for
because
sure.
I already know this is gonna happen. Rudy is not gonna be a factor. Sorry to say it, he's getting taken out the game. What's
I'm
gonna
not
happen
banking on
is,
Rudy ever.
yeah, he's
I
gonna
wasn't
play
banking
some
on him when he had
minutes.
20 points. I was like, this motherfucker got 20. What is going on?
He'll be a difference maybe to start the game off, but when it comes to like crunch time and all this other stuff, it's gonna be Julius and Nas out there at the 4 and the 5, which then I like us matched up with that because we had like I like us matched up better
Sure.
with that. I just think it's gonna be determined like who's third and fourth option steps up the
Yeah,
most.
7 game series definitely favors you guys. 5 to 6 favors us. I know you said 7 or 6 in your favor, perfectly fine. But 7 games, I will say, even as a Wolves fan, 7 games favors the Warriors a little more than it does.
Yeah.
Now again,
Five favors
if
y'all.
you guys go
Five favors
seven,
y'all. Seven
if you
favors
guys
us.
go 7 both times, outside of the experience, if your legs are worn because you've already played 14 games in a playoff setting, it could be detrimental. Now I know
Yeah.
that Steph be on that bike, and we saw it, he was 0 for 7 until the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, and then saw one go in, then he went for 20 points afterwards. So,
The light skinned man. He was gonna insert his will on that
but he had 6 assists or
at
something like
some
that.
point. Yeah.
So he still was offensively helping getting the ball into the basket. It
He
just
was going
wasn't
to
him
insist.
doing it
Yeah.
himself. So
Yeah.
now, do you get another
Yeah,
30?
Steph
Yeah,
ended up having 7 assists and 10 rebounds.
yeah.
But it's like,
Do you
do
get
you
that
get
performance out
I'm
of
not
Buddy
banking
again?
I'm not banking on that. That was the one performance that I've been waiting on for him. That was like maybe early on in the series where there was like the 1 game and a half, he
So
almost had like 20
The
and a
Rudy and the
half.
Bobby Hill performances cancel each other out.
But no, but I do got Buddy probably reaching 20 at least 2 times this season
Okay,
before Rudy tries has like a 20 and 20 type of game.
sure.
Like Rudy may have like a 15 and 10 type of game. Like,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
he'll do that. I think that's
he'll
feasible.
get that, but like I got Buddy like maybe hitting 9 threes in a
Yeah,
game
but if
again.
Rudy's scoring 20
Yeah,
points, it's a problem. And I'm not saying if he's scoring
it
20
makes
points, that
up
means
for a
he's getting a
lot.
lot of putbacks.
It could be,
Yeah.
and that could be also, and that could be in their favor, but that also could be
But I'm not
like if
saying
he
he's going to
has,
do that. I think it's over and done.
yeah,
15 to 10 sounds more reasonable, more realistic
yeah,
to me.
15 and 10 is a reasonable game for him.
Yeah.
Like that's a
And
great game for him. But
Ant
yeah,
gets his 28 ish. Julius Randle gets
yeah.
24. With the other guys
But like
filling
I
in,
said, it's gonna be who's third and fourth, fifth
options show up.
option
Yep.
steps up.
Yep.
Because I see Steph showing up, I see Jimmy showing up, I see Ant showing up, I see Nas being the more consistent one over Randall
Yeah.
because he's always been. I've always said that. I said it last year. I said the way they gonna win last year was Nas. Nas was hooping every game.
Yeah.
Leave Rudy on
But
the
I
bench
think
and
the
put
thing
Nas and Cat.
that also favors the Timberwolves in this series is that they don't turn the ball over as much as Houston does. That was a huge factor in that series. Is the turnover battle literally defined that series. Whoever won the
Well,
turnover battle won that game.
the whole series was whoever won the turnover
Yeah,
battle
and you guys turn the ball
wins the
over a
game.
lot. And Minnesota does punish turnovers a
Yeah,
lot
but we
more
also
frequently than
we forced them up too. Like I'm
yeah.
saying, that
You
was
guys
two
do
of the better
force a
defensive
good
teams. That was
I think that
it
Minnesota
went
will
down.
turn
That
over
was
more compared to the Lakers series,
yes.
but they don't turn over as often as the Rockets
Yeah, they
do.
don't turnovers over. That's very much so. I don't disagree with that. But as I said, that was also two of the better defensive teams in the league going at it in a 7 game series, though. Like you have to credit the Rockets; they were a top 5 defensive team all season. It's not like we're talking about. They were bottom of the barrel or something. No, that was a great defensive
No,
team.
no, for sure.
It's just they can't put the ball in the basket. And so that was the thing. When they can't create turnovers, they can't put the ball in the basket. So
And that's the
that was
difference.
really the
Minnesota can put the ball in the basket without turnovers. And if they're
exactly.
getting
And
turnovers,
so
it really helps them.
exactly. And so that's why this is gonna be a more better that's why I said this will be a better series because it's like now you have a good defensive team, but they're also a better offensive team. That you're going against a great offensive team versus a good defensive team. So it counters out. Like I said,
Yeah,
like we
it's
both
very
agree.
balanced. for sure,
3, 4, and 5 is gonna win this
for sure.
series. The stars are gonna show up.
Yeah,
It's 3, 4, and 5. Who's gonna get that secondary production? Because whoever gets that wins the series. I think whoever wins the turnover battle, whoever shoots better from three,
hmm
and then I will say the free throw line is gonna determine this series.
which
Straight
kind
up.
of does favor Minnesota. I know they shoot a lot of threes, but they
It
attack the
it
basket a
doesn't
little
it
more frequently
it
than
it does in a way,
the
but
Lakers.
it definitely that's where we
That's where you
say
need
that,
Jimmy
but
though.
then
Yeah, that's where Jimmy's supposed to come
but
in
that's where
and
and
shine.
that's where he comes in and does make a difference. But I feel like that's where who wins the
Yeah,
series is going to be
makes it.
turnover. Whoever commands that, whoever shoots better at the 3 point line, and whoever wins the free throw battle, they win the series.
That's a pretty fair point.
That's
That's actually very
that's it.
valid statement. So the New York Knicks in Boston are now underway. They've been underway for a while. 20-19 with 3 minutes and 28 seconds in the first in favor of the New York Knicks. So we'll be getting off to watch that game. It
Damn,
was a pleasure.
Tatum already got 13 of them
Yeah,
things.
I was.
0 for 5.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So I did have a point, but we'll save it to the next one. We'll talk about some top five in each position. I've seen some stuff online. It'll be in my memory bank, so we'll
I'm
talk about it next
saying,
one.
go ahead. I'm saying, no, go ahead and get your rocks off, man. Go ahead.
With that said, I guess so. Yeah, I go crazy a little bit. So I seen the post. The guy who made a top five for each position. I think it's just a thing that's going on. And in that top five, I'm gonna pull it up so that way I'm not disrespecting his picks. There was only really one that I kind of disagreed with, maybe two, but let's see. Give me a second. Who we have? Make sure it's not picking up. Okay, so at the point guard, he had, in order: Steph, Magic, Isaiah Thomas, the Detroit Isaiah Thomas, Steve Nash, CP3. I like that. I can agree. I have Magic over
I,
Steph, but I'm willing to see both ways.
he said Magic, Steph. I'm just not going to order, but Magic, Steph, Isaiah. I agree with Nash. I would really fight for John Stockton over Nash.
I can respect that entirely, actually.
I actually could fight John Stockton over
And then
Nash.
you have CP3
Nash,
at
I
five
love.
still.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
still leave CP3 at 5 because I think overall, like CP3, people sleep on that New Orleans
Yeah.
CP3. He was averaging
The
25 and
the
like
only guy I
12.
would have over CP3, like I like CP3 at five. Don't get me wrong. The only person, John Stockton, great ad. I agree with that. Removing Steve Nash, putting John in, but Gary Payton Senior over CP3.
Yeah, I don't, I can't,
Now
I
that's a
won't argue
debatable
that.
spot. I can see them
That's very
both
debatable.
in there, and
It's
just like
debatable.
I have Steph and Magic debatable, I have Magic over Steph, but those are interchangeable to me. You can any both arguments are
I think
valid.
that's yeah, it's your I think when it comes to that part, it's opinionated.
Yep.
But like, yeah, I don't mind having CP at 5. I will agree with you that debatable with
Yeah.
GP with the original glove. I don't. He definitely could be put in there, but I will swap out Nash with
Yeah,
Stockton.
I like that.
Like I think people don't really. People don't realize how good Stockton really was,
Stockton was
but
like
like
that. I mean, all time
he
assist
was
leader and all time
real.
steals leader.
He was really like
And he
that,
could
and I just
he could put a ball in the basket when he didn't need to
yeah,
without
Nash
fouling on.
Nash is definitely a great point guard.
Yep.
No doubt about it. But like top 5 all time, I'm taking Stockton before I take
But where
Nash.
Nash offensively was slightly better, John Stockton was much better on the defensive side of the ball.
Agreed.
So
And that's where I was like,
yeah, that's what makes
I
the
do
difference.
feel
I like
like
that. That's actually a
yeah,
good call out.
I take Stockton over
All
Nash
right,
in
moving on
that.
to the
CP's 5, but I definitely do that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
moving on to the shooting guards. This one's a little easier. In order: MJ, Kobe, Dwayne Wade, Harden, AI. You already know how I feel. In no
I'm
world will I
moving
have AI over
moving
Harden
I'm moving AI up
Harden
for
over AI.
shit
Excuse me.
show.
So and then I'm moving
I
Harden
would live with
out because I don't think he's top five. We've seen him disappear too goddamn often in the playoffs. Who would I put over him? I don't know right now. I need to think about it. Could be Manu. Could be Vince Carter.
nah, Harden's still over Manu in my opinion.
Sure. I mean,
I he's still not. I'm not. Harden's not in top 5 for me. Like he's definitely. You really are now like showing me like
I
I
mentioned it.
said
He
you're playing.
disappears.
It's
And that
just
whole Nick
no
Wright
no.
thing,
I
where
agree
26
with you.
games, where he had
I
more
just
turnovers than field goals made, is crazy work.
Exactly. I agree with you. I never said he was. I just said it was like he has more credit, but it was just like you were not making a good example for it when it's like you were the number two option this go around and you just folded.
All right, I'm gonna throw
You
some
were the
names
number.
out there, and so you definitely you don't agree with
I
Manu,
would
which is
put
fine. So I'm gonna throw names out
no.
there: Vince Carter, Ray Allen, Jerry West, T Mac, Clay Thompson, Clyde Drexler, Joe Dumars. Those are and Pistol Pete Maravich. Those are the 7 names I would say can be over. I think Manu's in that conversation, but if you don't like Manu, of those names I just mentioned,
I
who
got
would you put
Manu
over?
top 10 though for shit show,
Yeah,
but I
Manu's
don't
top
think
10.
Manu. Oh, I don't think Manu fully over Harden. Just so I don't. I'm not going that far. But I don't mind people that would have said like Clyde over James Harden. I don't. I understand why.
Yeah.
Clyde did lead the team by himself.
And
Like
I think he has the
he
MVP, right? He does have MVP.
yeah. I think he has
So,
MVP. So
I
I
mean,
don't
Jerry
mind
West is the
if you were
logo,
to say
only
like
guy with a Finals MVP on a losing team. Different era though, but you
yeah. So
gotta
like
respect the
I
goats of their time.
I understand why he said Harden if they're cool, but like I don't mind if somebody were to be like Clyde there.
Yeah,
I can't put T Mac there because like he had
injuries
too much of the his injuries really fall to him. Just so that Vince had a great
and
career overall.
George Gerving as well. I don't know how I forgot about George Gerving.
Iceman,
Iceman Gerving.
yeah,
So
I still,
there's some names I'm
yeah,
putting above
yeah. There's some
Harden for
names
sure.
there that potentially can go. So I don't mind him having Harden at 5, but I don't also mind if somebody comes
Actually,
in and
looking at the
within a
names,
good point.
I know it's either Clyde, Jerry West, or Pistol Pete
Yeah,
for me because Pistol
I don't
Pete
mind.
changed the
I
game.
don't. Yeah, I don't mind if somebody said Clyde. Like Clyde really actually did it. Like I don't mind if somebody did for it to say Clyde.
All right,
So I don't.
so moving
Yeah, I
on.
don't.
So we got some changes in the first two. Mostly at 4 it seems because Steve Nash was your 4 and James Harden was definitely your 4.
Yeah,
All right, small forward. This is where I had my talking piece. Right, so small forward: Bron, Bird, KD, Kawhi, Scottie Pippen. I'm taking Scottie Pippen out because he had 1 year where he led the team and his stats barely changed. I mean, he had like 2 more points. He was in the MVP conversation, but you can't be top 10 all the time in your position when there's guys who literally led their teams, like Carmelo Anthony, for instance, led his team. Not Chris Paul, Paul Pierce, Dr. J. Who else? Who else do I have? I was willing to hear. Fuck. Now I'm missing it. But with those 3, like I would move Kawhi out. Probably put Dr. J in 4 because Kawhi missed a ton of time. And I think we
yeah.
both agree,
Indeed.
and anybody that knows ball would probably agree
Well,
with this.
yeah.
If Kawhi doesn't get hurt, he probably goes down
He
as better than
also
Bron.
he definitely is up there. If Kawhi is very very healthy in the trajectory that he was going, Kawhi is definitely up there.
Oh, Elgin
Kawhi is
Baylor.
definitely.
Elgin Baylor was in there, and
I was
John
like, you
Havlicek.
have.
Havlicek.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, you got. I was like, you
Dominique
got
is on there.
Dominique
Yeah,
Wilkins.
Dominique
You
is
got
on there.
Dominique too.
Yeah, so
You got.
those are
You got.
Jimmy Butler's even in that conversation. Jimmy Butler could be. I think he's top 10.
Jimmy can. I would fight for Jimmy in the top 10. Jimmy got to get
And
that ring
and how can
before
I
we.
forget about Rick Barry? Rick
Yeah,
Barry was like that. So for me,
yeah, Rick
so for me, I'm definitely moving
Yeah.
Kawhi and Scotty out. Kawhi because of injuries, even though he's
Mhm.
definitely a top 5. He's a top 5 ball player talent
Of all
of all
time type
time,
shit.
but he
Yes.
just doesn't have enough games under his belt.
So you're probably moving Julius in then,
I'm
right?
definitely moving Julius Irving into 4.
Okay.
100% into
So
4.
then, who would you gonna put at 5? Yeah, because I don't
5,
mind you. I don't mind him doing that. I don't disagree with you on those.
5. My bias is going to kick in. I'm going to say Carmelo Anthony, but I'm willing to hear Rick Barry or John
Hmm.
Havlicek, who's way before our
Hmm.
time. We never got a chance to really see him. Elgin Baylor was like that. Jerry West has been on record saying that Elgin Baylor is the best player he's ever seen in his life.
Hmm.
But that he came from that time period. Paul Pierce
Yeah.
is again. I'm willing to debate Paul Pierce in that 5 spot or Jimmy Butler in that 5 spot and Dominique Wilkins. But I think Rick Barry, John Havlicek, just non-biased. Those two Havlicek,
Yeah, have him check.
Havlicek. My bad. You know I'm bad with names.
I know you dyslexic.
Those two kind of. Even though John was definitely before our time, and we only got to see like later stuff and
Yeah.
hearing the
Um,
greats talk about him,
Yeah,
I can see an argument for those two being in 5, but I'm willing to hear Dominic Wilson's, Paul Pierce,
mhm.
Jimmy Butler, Carmelo Anthony. Out
I
taking
think,
my
yeah,
bias away.
I think Jimmy is in top 10 for shit show. I don't give him, I don't put him in there yet. And Jimmy could be in a top 10 conversation, top 5. Jimmy got to get that ring though.
Yeah,
Jimmy got to get that ring though.
because Rick Barry got a
That's the
couple,
only,
right? Am I tripping on that? I think
Rick has one. Rick has one. Rick
yeah,
has
he does.
one.
Yeah,
He
yeah, he
got
got the
one.
one
He
with the
got
champions,
one.
the Warriors. Or no, not the
Yeah, he got
Warriors.
one. Yeah, no, he got one with the
It was the
Warriors.
Warriors.
That
That's
was the
right.
one.
It was that
It was
team.
one of our first
Yeah,
ones.
Finals
So
MVP.
yeah,
He had an ABA championship, so he won before the merger.
yeah.
Multi
But like
All
NBA
Star.
wise,
Yeah,
yes, he has
yeah.
one.
So
That's why I said like Rick
Rick Barry
Barry.
was
I
like
don't mind you
that.
going. I don't mind Rick going in that title. Rick was one of them. But
Yeah.
like yeah. So on them standards, yes. That's why I said Jimmy. Jimmy would have to get a ring before I put him in like
Fair
5.
enough.
I
Fair enough.
def. But I agree with the Julius Irving being moved in and Rick being moved in. I don't mind that. I rock with that because, like I said, Kawhi has not been healthy half his career.
But that doesn't
If
take
he
away how
was,
talented he is. Like that's just on
yeah,
pure. Because if we went
we're
pure
just
talent, then Joel Embiid is
Kawhi is definitely
probably the best center we've ever seen. He's that good, but he can't stay healthy. Kawhi is that good as well, but he can't stay healthy. So I have to say
can't say
availability
healthy.
is the best ability. Period.
Hmm.
And it's kind of
Yeah, we're going
disrespectful.
based off
Yeah,
availability. We're
it's
going based off availability in the
and
time.
almost
Yes.
everyone we've mentioned so far played 90+% of their games that they could play.
Hmm.
So it's kind of disrespectful to these
Facts.
guys who played as many games, stayed healthy for a guy to be in that top 5 when the rest of
Because
them
if
played
that's
a
the
bunch of
case,
games.
if you want to be like, if we're
If we're
talking
talking about
small
on a
forwards,
potential,
and,
yes.
and we're talking potential, Grant
Grant
Hill was
Hill was
really
up there. Brandon
Grant Hill
Roy is
was
up there. Derrick
Hills.
Rose, absolutely. Yeah, but we're not gonna include them because they were hurt a lot. T Mac potentially can be in one of
T
those
Mac
conversations.
potentially was going down. T Mac potentially probably be the best 2 guard out of all
Right.
time if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and if he played a little bit more defense, but he was
Yeah.
that good. He was that talented. Now moving on to power forward. So this one is probably the easiest of the 5 positions. Timmy, KG,
Yep.
Dirk, Giannis, Karl Malone.
Jamie, KG, Dirk,
Giannis, Karl
Giannis,
Malone.
Karl Malone.
That one is the most like I don't see anything wrong. I'm willing to see people
I'm
shifted.
not just yeah.
I like that 5. Those are my top 5 power
I
forwards.
no. I would go with that too because I don't. I was trying to think of a power forward over Karl Malone. Karl Malone's right there because I was like, I was thinking like,
You have
I was
Elvin
thinking around.
Hayes. You got Paul
I was thinking
Gasol,
around.
Charles Barkley,
Ooh, I was thinking. I was thinking. That's what I was
Kevin
thinking. I was like
McHale was like
Charles.
that.
Yeah, but I was more looking at like, does Charles go over Karl Malone? But I was like, you can't necessarily do that. You could talk it, but I think Karl Malone deserves his respect at that.
Yeah,
So I don't. Yeah, I agree. That power
all
forward
time. I
probably is the
think
easiest one.
he peaked at 2 all time scorer. So
Yeah, he was. He was at there. He was number 2 for a while. So yeah, I could agree to that. That probably that goes down. Power forward was really easy.
yeah,
Yeah, that was easy.
super easy. All right, moving to the centers. Now the centers. This is where we'll probably get some argument, but I do like the 5. In order: Kareem, Shaq, Hakeem, Joker, Wilt Chamberlain. That's enough. I mean, those the bigs are kind of easy.
Kareem, Shaq, Hakeem, Joker, and you said, well,
Wilt Chamberlain, yes sir.
I unbiased opinion.
I mean, there's the
I
guys
put I
before you go, let me just
no,
real quick.
yeah,
The guys who I can
okay.
see getting in that conversation: Dwight Howard, Bill Walton, Bill
Hmm.
Russell, David Robinson
Hmm.
are the guys who
Hmm.
I can say, and even Wes
Yeah, never mind.
Yabusel, I can see him.
What's
Yeah,
unso well
so
he
yeah.
could he would more for undersized power forward. To be honest with you.
I mean, you got George Macon too, but he was way before our
Yeah,
time, so I can't speak on his game. I've heard a lot about his game, but
yeah.
he was way before our time. But Bill Walton was like that. He led a team by himself to a
Hmm.
to a um, to a championship in Portland. Now injuries could plague him as well. He as far as the conversation, he was injured, but he did
Gotcha.
play a good
Hmm.
amount. Like I think he played about 80% of his games which I think
Yeah,
is a good baseline to say, okay, if you played 80% of your games, you could be in that conversation. I could be wrong. I have to do the math and look it up. But Dwight Howard, multi-time
yeah.
defensive
I,
MVP,
he has a ring.
he's got a
He did
ring.
get a ring.
He literally led a team. That team is not a. Those Magic teams were like number one or number two defensive stats. Without him on that team, they're not that. That's how great Dwight Howard was. He was that good.
Draft lottery. Top five.
He was that good. So I'm willing
Just saying.
to now Patrick Ewing. I'm not
I,
putting in that conversation.
I don't mind that. I don't mind the debate with Dwight. What I was saying with me, like personally, got got Hakeem over Shaq.
I got Akeem over Shaq too. Actually, now I said I
Yeah.
like the five, and there
No,
could
the
be some
five is
shifting. There's
perfect. I'm
shifting.
with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
five. I would just
The
move
Dream
the Dream
over. Yeah,
to two
absolutely.
and then Shaq.
Yes,
Don't get me wrong. Shaq does have four. Kareem has two. But me personally, just Shaq was the most dominant big man.
yeah.
Yes, but I overall, it's just
Kareem had a
Hakeem.
bag on him, or not Kareem.
I'm just I'm
Hakeem had a bag on him, and a move that
I'm
was
putting
like
Hakeem just
the second most
just
unstoppable move we've ever seen outside of the skyhook, which was led by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
yes.
So
That's why I like Kareem at Kareem one. I don't Shaq at two. I won't disagree, but personally,
I like the shift. I like the shift as well
I would maybe put Hakeem at two and then
because
Shaq.
we've seen
But
Hakeem kill Shaq. We ain't seen Shaq kill Hakeem.
that's my point. Like that's also where I was going with like Shaq struggled
They've
with
matched
Hakeem.
up.
Hakeem didn't struggle with
No, they
Shaq.
matched up
Like
for sure. But
so
I'm
that's why
also
I was
willing to
like,
hear, like I
yeah.
said, David Robinson, Dwight Howard, George,
I
if
would go
someone
David
is
Robinson for
in that.
sure before Dwight. Yeah.
Yeah, because he has an MVP
But
and he's got a few rings, so he
hmm
had Admiral
but
or
yes,
Bill
I
Russell. Bill
definitely
Russell in there too because he was similar to
Bill
Dwight's
too.
situation. It was Bill defense where they were letting him go by. He was that athletic that he was just blocking shots. I mean, they've said
Mm.
this has
But
been known.
I like the
Yeah,
five.
this has
No,
been
I like
known.
that five though.
Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, if they were counting blocks as stats back in their time period, they would be number one and number two all time triple threat leaders, and by a wide
Hmm
margin. Like I think they would be up like 56 or some odd, like a good almost a whole year worth compared to what the next person has. So
hmm Yeah.
that's
That's
how
yeah.
dominant they were offensively
I
and
would
defensively.
personally I would, in my opinion, yeah, I like the
Yeah,
five. The
yeah,
five, I don't think you change. I think I just maybe would swap Shaq with
yeah,
Hakeem
like that.
and put Keem two and Shaq three. But I don't disagree with him putting Shaq at two and then
Yeah,
Hakeem
it's all how you see it.
yeah, it's all
You
how you see
count
it. But yeah,
titles more,
the
Finals MVPs more. I can see it.
yeah, five is the
Yeah,
five is perfect. I just personally would say Hakeem two,
yeah,
then Shaq, but I don't disagree with Shaq being at two or three.
yeah.
I think it's interchangeable, all personal preference, but I do think Kareem
Now I do
is
think the Joker
number
can make
one.
his way up the list because obviously these guys are all retired.
I think Joker gets one more ring.
He can move
He
up
if he
that
can get
list to three or two.
I think he get one more ring. He can definitely move up that list. He gets two more and another MVP.
Yeah, we can start the conversation with Kareem.
I think you can start moving him up to there.
You know what
Yes,
that
I
opens
don't
up though?
disagree.
If he gets in the conversation with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he's in the conversation for greatest player of all time. Because Kareem is that
Which
that number
which
three
which I
guy.
don't
Kareem is in
I
that
don't
conversation, greatest of all time, depending on your
I'm
era.
willing to have those conversations though,
Because the Joker is
because
nice.
this
That horse riding white
the
boy is
man
cold, man.
that man he's averaging triple double. He might go down in his career average might be a
I don't
triple
think I've ever
double.
seen someone who's 7 feet tall that wanted to be so short so bad so he could ride horses. Like that is crazy to me. The man wants to be a horse jockey so bad. He's like, brother, I don't want to play ball. I'm just 7 feet tall. I just had to do this. I want to ride
Exactly.
horses.
Exactly. But no, I don't. I will agree to have that conversation because people are having it now. Like I feel like if
Yeah, he's got
Joker
to get
can
two
get
more rings though. Two more
two
rings, two
more
more
though,
Finals MVPs,
if he gets
and
two
another
more,
MVP.
and I don't even knock him not getting two more Finals MVP. If he can get two more rings and one more Finals MVP, and then go get a regular season MVP on top of that, I think we can have them conversations with him
And if
up
he's
there
in
with
that
like.
in that top 15 to top 10 scoring too.
Yeah, because I that too, but I think like overall though, I think he may. when it's all said and done, though, his career average is gonna be a triple
Yeah,
double, though.
yeah, I can see it.
That's something we gotta talk about too. But like I do, yeah, I feel like he needs
But
two
I will
more.
say this: Kareem could guard Joker, but the Joker could not guard Kareem.
Hell no.
So that could make that difference in conversation piece, but it does
It
make for
definitely can,
great
but
conversation going
it's
forward. The Joker definitely have an
there's great
opportunity to make
conversation.
his
He
way
gets two
into the
more.
best center of all
Yeah,
time.
he gets two more. He gets two more. It's definitely a conversation. It definitely
For sure.
is.
But and you know how I stand. If you're not top two in your position, you can't be top two. You can't be in the conversation for greatest basketball player of all time. You have to be in that debatable space of being in the top of your position all time. So he can make it to the top one. You know that where it's arguable between one and two. I'm willing to have the conversation. Anybody
Hmm.
outside of that, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. If you're not top two in your position all time, that means you're not top 10 all time. So how can you be top one? So you know how it goes. But as always, you thought we were leaving. I kind of went out with an outro earlier, but it's all good. So it looks like we got a highly contested game so far, surprisingly. But I did mention that Boston was looking kind of vulnerable a little bit, and that New York could ink out one
They
win.
had they had more rest in New York. New York's still hot
Yeah.
right now.
So
They ain't-
so we'll see. I mean, it's still a close 1 point game in favor of the Knicks right now as we go 9 minutes and 46 seconds into the second. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, dislike, reach out to us, DM us. I mean, if you want to try to get in the show, I mean, one of these days we're going to do it live. We'll announce that when we do it, and maybe we can pull people in to the conversation. But if you feel like you got takes, or you feel like you want to talk this NBA stuff, or even when we start talking NFL, all times and stuff like that, and you're especially if you're a LeBron fan, nothing brings me more joy than just destroying your hope. And I know you're delusional, so your hope won't disappear. But I know that little light in your eye. I like seeing it die out. You know, when I just bring facts to the playing field. You know, and so or whatever. You know, or you're Luka fans. Maybe you're Luka fans and you're just so enthralled with his offense, and he's less than a damn traffic cone on defense. And I did say less than. I said he's less than an inanimate object. Okay, you heard me right. You heard it here first. Ignorant Takes Podcast as always. Peace, love, and chicken grease. We'll see you.